Going to start off with a question from Eric Kareen from The Athletic.
First, I feel like I should ask you about your sweatshirt today, given what's going on with the mail and post office situation in the States. How much have you been paying attention to that, and how concerning is it as a citizen?
Well, I certainly saw the report this morning, or the news about it this morning. It's concerning. I'm going to do a little more digging to see the legitimacy of it. I think it seems a little bit of a headline-ish thing that may or may not be true, Eric, so far. So I'm going to dig into it a little bit more.
On the basketball front, you've obviously coached a bunch of different style of teams, and this team is sort of a team that combines that underdog mentality with, also a championship pedigree. The team you're playing obviously has almost no expectations coming into the bubble. How dangerous can a team like that, who from the outside people don't think they have, a lot to play for, how dangerous can a team like that be?
Well, I think they can be very dangerous. I mean, if you want to just compare us, you did a good job of that. I think, at this stage a year ago, starting the playoffs, nobody would have thought, I don't think anybody would have thought the Toronto Raptors were going to be the champions at the end. So it doesn't, Eric, it doesn't really matter what people are saying if your belief inside your locker room organization and everything is strong enough to overcome that. So that's my answer.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks,
We'll go next to Doug Smith from the Toronto Star.
Hello, Nick. How are you?
Hi, Doug. I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. We understand that the NBA is allowing teams to bring in 2 extra coaches for these playoffs. Who are you going to bring in, and why? What do you need, do you think?
I don't really know the answer to that question, Doug. I think we still got to get through a round before we get to bring them in. So I don't know the answer to that question. But just we got a lot of our player development guys back home that these guys are missing and wanting to have here. So from Big Cat to Carbascio, Big John Carbascio to Fabulous to Brittany to there's a lot of Tyler. There's a lot of options back home still.
Have you missed having a full staff in these 7 weeks or however long you've been down there?
Yeah, of course. I think first of all, I'd say our assistants are doing an awesome job. They're obviously carrying a much heavier workload, and Doug, that's mostly in the physicality of the job.
Yeah.
Meaning they're on the court, they're throwing passes, they're defending, they're contesting, they're putting in. Those guys are sleeping good at night because they're still doing all their film work and all their reports and going back to the gym again for guys. They're really physically. It's been demanding on them, and they've done great. And it's nice. You can almost see them. They're getting used to it a little bit. I think the energy's good. The pep in the step is there. All that stuff. So they've done good both physically and mentally.
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it. Have a good day.
Yep. You too, Doug.
Next, we have Stephen Lung from Sportsnet.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for doing this. This bubble, this restart, has kind of felt like a brand new season. I just want to know, compared to before the season suspension, is it a similar feeling heading into the playoffs now as it was then, or does it feel completely different considering how different this restart has been?
Yeah. Again, I'm not sure I know yet. Maybe I'll know a little closer to Monday. Right at this moment, it feels pretty similar, Stephen. It's actually felt like a little easier to kind of get organized. Usually you're flying back from Miami or something, and you're trying to recoup for a day, and people are all over the place. But we're not. There's no travel. We're all there. The coaches were here. We go to breakfast, we get together, and we start talking about the game plan. It's like somewhat there's the closeness and stuff, and the no travel is makes it on a lot of fronts a little better to prepare. But no, it feels like, there's some extra energy and juice and blood pumping and all that kind of stuff that you can sense already getting ready to go to the playoffs, which is normal. I just had a big thought of not doing this in front of fans because, as you know, man, that first game when the Raptors go to the playoffs and you walk into that arena, the fans get up and it's really something, right? It's really something for us to be a part of, and we will miss that for sure.
And you mentioned kind of like that adrenaline and blood pumping. You obviously have quite a few young players who worked with the team last season. So like what kind of message are you imparting on them to prepare them for this moment?
Well, stuff you would probably imagine, that, it's time to get serious, right? This is a hard plan, tough, long process. And they pretty much get the idea, Stephen. We've had to, get after them a little bit at the start as new players to our organization. They did a good job, as you know. The restart kind of reset things again, had to get after them a little bit here in the bubble as well. But again, I think like yesterday and the game before, their work and their effort shows up. Their individual work, the attention they paid to the defensive game plan and schemes and stuff showed itself yesterday. So I'm less concerned about them. It's time for people to accept a different role sometimes in a playoff. And we'll probably learn a little bit of that as we go. But we don't have much time. We only got a couple days to settle into that stuff and when the ball goes up.
Thanks a lot.
Yep. Thanks, Stephen.
Next to Ryan Wallstatt from the Toronto Sun.
Hey, Nick. Obviously, this is a different team than last year for a variety of reasons. You did a little more by committee this year. Grange brought up that 5 guys with 15 points a game last year. And Pascal stepped up last year with his first real taste of the bright lights. But how much do you expect another step from him needing to be taken? Is he just going to need to carry over what he did this regular season, or is it still going to be kind of a committee approach? Like, where's the balance in that?
Well, I think it is an interesting kind of project that we have here in front of us. I love the different options and so many different people I think can rise up and have big nights, right? I mean, you said that 5 guys average over 15, that would kind of lend itself to that. But I also know that, in tough playoff games, you need somebody who can get you a bucket. You need somebody who can just get the ball and put their head down and score you one. Or step back and score you one, or whichever way, just to kind of keep things ticking over and keep momentum and spirit and all that stuff going. And that's his job, and he's done a tremendous job of that this regular season. And I would imagine he answers kind of every step up call, right? Step up and play call. So he's probably ready for that.
All right, got time for 2 more. Going to go first to Rebecca Harlow from TNT. Rebecca, are you there?
I'm here.
All right.
Nick, I hope you're having a chance to keep your eyeball on those Cubbies from the bubble down here.
Yeah, I'm watched every game. I bought the MLB TV subscription. It's on my laptop. I've watched almost every game.
Good. I love it. But so Nick, just question, you're talking about your defense a little bit, and in this restart, there's some defensive teams who have struggled, like Denver. Mike Malone has talked about how he feels like in that time off, guys could shoot, but they couldn't work on their defense. How have you guys as the team managed to avoid that and keep your defense at such a high level? What's your thought and just sort of on that theory and how you've been able to keep it together defensively?
Well, I don't think there's much of a secret there, Rebecca, or anything. I mean, I was concerned about it coming here, that we kind of got to a level defensively we were really happy with and kind of put our whole identity on, to be honest. And that was a concern with the break. And it was the thing I wanted to find out the most. Were we going to get back to playing with that kind of grit and toughness and energy and that we it takes to do that? And we just kind of did it right out of the blocks. I mean, I don't know what to say other than, you know, we went through a kind of a normal training camp process where we emphasize defense and we go through our schemes and our fundamentals and just started kind of building it up. And then we got to a game and our guys were there ready to play it. And I think I give them the credit. You know, you got to want to play, and our veteran guys want to play, and then they ensure that it kind of trickles down to the rest of the team.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah. Thank you, Rebecca.
And we're going to finish off with Aaron Rose from SI.com.
Hey, Nick, thanks for doing this. I'm wondering how, if in any ways you feel different entering this playoffs compared to last year, other than kind of the pandemic, but do you feel different?
Well, I think, Aaron, I certainly have been through it now once, right? So I think that there's, you know, there is some kind of experience or knowledge that you take going into it. And probably the biggest thing is that it's a long process, right? It's a long journey that's just getting started, and you kind of got to acknowledge that fact, and you got to acknowledge that not everything's going to go perfectly, and you got to be able to kind of keep a level playing field with yourself and your team and your staff, and just man, just do the best you can. But it's going to be a long, tough grind, and it should be. And the result at the end of it, if you can get there, is certainly worth it, you know.
And we talked a little bit earlier when the seeding games were starting about how weird it was playing without fans and you having to call plays a little different and stuff. Do you feel like you've kind of figured out what it's like coaching in the bubble?
I don't, you know something, Aaron, I think it changed pretty quickly. I would say the first few games, the scrimmages and the scrimmages, it seemed really quiet and really really different. But I think the fans, the virtual fans and the crowd noise, and got it more back to normal. And it doesn't feel that much different. I know that's kind of hard to believe, but it really doesn't. I mean, when you're in an arena, let's say in Toronto, in front of 20,000 people, you certainly get a lot pregame, but when the ball goes up, there's just kind of a small little, you know, 3 or 4 rows maybe that you're even affected by because you're so locked in on the game, and that kind of feels like what it's like now.
Sure. Thank you.
Yep.
That's all we got, Coach.
Thank you.